Why does attraction fade in marriage? What causes loss of attraction?
For more training on building and attracting a blissful marriage, please visit www.lolaandola.com.
Why does attraction fade in marriage? What causes loss of attraction? We just kind of mentioned that, but let me just pull out some. Yeah, go ahead.
Like I said, when things are stagnant.
When it feels stagnant.
Yes.
Yeah.
When
but things are not necessarily stagnant.
When it feels stagnant.
It just feels stagnant.
When you're going through financial stress.
Let's give an example at this point. For me, things never felt stagnant because I'm busy with business and I'm always on the go. And I'm engaged with every little details of that business, and there's a lot of details. And that consumes me.
Yeah,
right?
That's for you.
For me.
Okay, bro.
For me. So now it's very important to point that out so that when you do approach your spouse, you don't approach from a place of they're just trying to be wicked to you. You need to understand that it depends
or they are whining.
You need to approach from a standpoint of he just missed it.
Yes.
He just didn't know that I'm feeling that way.
Right.
First step is communicate that and then see how you can add and help with spicing things up without making it fully his responsibility. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
okay.
I just feel like the conversations need to be had because people don't have the conversations. And then when you don't have the conversations, you can't read my mind. I can't read your mind. I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you how I feel. Or you have to have that conversation. Maybe give yourselves time and say, you know what, let's talk about where we are, how you feeling. Let's do this. What are your plans? What do you want to do for the summer? Let's do this. You have to have those conversations. If not, one person will be resenting the other for not knowing what the person needs at that time.
I have a question for you, Ben. Did you and this person have a meeting?
Ooh.
She says that's where communication comes in. Discuss what will work and won't work.
Abi, she's a woman, so she can relate.
All right.
Because this is a conversation.
What's that supposed to mean? Men don't think
I'm telling you, a lot of women are suffering when it comes to this situation. Men are neglecting their wives.
Well, when you communicate,
they are not
and I can't
doing
tell
it
you, Uncle.
Knowingly. That's because you don't want to hear.
That wickedness. Her mind goes through. I just want to be wicked. I'm just deliberately not want to hear you.
If I'm communicating to you and you're not listening, look, there is a adage out there that says men don't listen, women don't lie. Okay, women can exaggerate, but there's no lie in what they are saying. But men,
exaggeration is a form of lie, but go ahead.
Men have to learn to listen to their women. When we're looking for that emotional connection, like for example, when me and you, when we take that walk every day, every evening, I love those walks.
Okay. I love them too.
Now, when we're walking, when we're walking, now for you now to be on and you're chatting, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that connection. I'm bonding with you. This is what women want. It's a time with their spouse.
Okay.
Not time for you to now, I'm hanging out with you, but I'm on my laptop doing something. That's not hanging out. You're not really there. It could be hangout. No, baby.
It could be hangout.
No, baby. No. When you're hanging out with me,
what about my own perception of all this?
That's your perception. This is mine that I'm talking about.
Okay.
Let's
just see it as that then.
On us, right. Not be doing work on the side because you're already a workaholic. You have to know that you do work a lot. Right. So when that time comes, oh babe, we're going on a date. I appreciate it every time you do that. I love it.
I didn't call it date. I just want to hang out with my wife. I didn't call it date.
Well, I call it a date.
It's all this.
I love it.
It's all this. There's a lot of. I think one of the things that men kick against. Just let me speak from a man's standpoint right now. Okay. Is when it becomes rules.
You don't like rules.
Just like women don't like being put in a position where she's trying to obey rules, submit, respect, all this craziness, right? There's a place that a man goes to where it feels like rules, right? And then their ego start getting rubbed off the wrong way.
Oh, messed up.
When he sees it as, no, that's my queen. Yeah, of course I'm going to take my queen out every now and then to make her feel good. Because when she feels good, I feel good. See, it's the same shit. It's just how it's painted. That makes all the difference.
Some men don't do that at all.
I agree.
Okay, you be shocked.
When we communicate to those men so they can do more of it, it's very important to make them also feel like it's not a chore.
Isn't that what I said in the beginning, that that's an effort? The fact that you take the time out to plan a date for us,
right?
That makes me feel good. I didn't ask for it.
We need to focus on the make you feel good part.
Okay, I agree.
There's a place when people are talking about this where they refuse to focus on the make you feel good part. They're just very good. They're very quick to throw out the rule. You must take your wife out on a date every other 2 weeks. This is the feelings matter in relationships.
Yeah.
This is the part where it's like, oh, they shoot me.
By the way, men don't like to be told what to do. And
does women like that?
No.
Okay.
Let me finish. Look, don't go for my jugular.
Hey,
men don't like to be told what to do. That could make them lose attraction for you.
Right. So thanks for bringing it back to attraction.
So we all have to learn the art of seduction.
Yes.
You have to know
your
man.
You're jumping.
You have to know your man. You have to know what works, and you have to play that game properly. Yes, it's a game. Yeah. You have to play it very well to get what you want.
You're good. When I say jumping, I was saying Yoruba English. I was saying you're moving ahead of ourselves. So let's see what Lilian is saying. So what causes? No, we already covered that.
Okay.
All right. So let's see what causes loss of attraction. Resentment will cause loss of attraction.
Yes, that's real.
What is resentment? When you have something against your spouse,
yes,
and you're not saying it,
and you're not speaking it out,
or you're not feeling heard. You may be saying it,
you could be saying it, and they're not
hearing you.
Yeah.
That resentment. So you have to do everything in your power to make sure that resentment is a lot of energy. It occupies a big space in your relationship. And if you don't address those things, guess what? You either have resentment or you have attraction.
Some women will be like, you know what? But I tell him all the time, he doesn't even listen to me, doesn't even make time. Oh, even worse, he's not even available.
Right. So communication.
He doesn't even come home.
So communications is not all words. That's just one aspect of it. And it only works maybe by the second time. By the time you're saying the same thing third time,
you become a
there's something called banner blindness in marketing, meaning that word has no more meaning. I can now predict that you're about to say that. Like I can hear you because you're saying the same thing, and you're also enabling me not hearing it, because again, you start hearing the same thing over and over again. Even like if you turn on music at night when you're sleeping, you sleep. Because you forget that sound is because it's repetitive, right? It's the same thing when you see the same banner and you're traveling along the same road every day. Eventually, you won't see that banner any longer.
Fact.
Right? So if you're using words, if your idea of communication is just words, there's a point you get to that it becomes less effective. There are other forms of communication.
Yeah.
Okay. Pain and pleasure is a big form of communication. There's something that person is enjoying that makes them not hear you.
This thing is like a game. You have to know what your spouse really values.
Yeah.
They want something from you as well.
Yes.
So you got to use that to get what you want.
To get your point across.
Yeah.
And the idea that they're not hearing you, you're right. They're not hearing you, but you're still responsible for making sure you communicate. And remember that communication is not just all words. Sometimes it's about removing yourself. It's about removing that thing that they're enjoying that makes them continue that bad behavior, because we only respond to pain and pleasure. And that's why I also mentioned earlier that that part where you said it makes you feel good, that's pleasure for me as a man, because it rubs my ego up in the good way. It strokes my ego.
Yeah.
Right. And that part will make me do the right thing.
Right.
But if you focus on the part where I have to do work, work is painful. Not work itself. Work is work in the very natural sense of it is a blessing that you can work. Because go and ask people that in hospital, right? But when it comes down to feelings, and we're talking with respect to marriage, you say marriage is work. A lot of people run away from that because it's scary.
No.
Because it feels scary.
Well, that's why they have to understand. You don't go into, like most people, we go into marriage, we don't know what we're getting into. But in today's world, I feel like people should just educate themselves about that.
Just like everything that's worthwhile, what you would do is educate yourself, respect marriage and relationships. You benefit from them.
Right.
We are social beings. We love our relationships. So don't assume you know everything about relationships and marriage. Learn everything you can learn about it. And that's why it's very important to be here every Friday at 5 p.m. It's like when we talk about this topic, there are some people that just see this topic, they see us post it, and they just like, I guess one of those things. They don't value it. You know why? Because they
don't need it yet.
They haven't been through the pain of what it looks like.
Sometimes you have to be able to relate.
Exactly.
To be able to connect to
and
something.
The best way for human beings to relate is pain, pleasure. That's what makes them relate to anything, you know. So that's very important. So let's go on to the next thing that causes complacency, right?
Yeah, that's real.
So when you start taking each other for granted, it's real. Once the newness is gone, I start treating her like the homie, right? Because actually that's pleasurable. But then she start feeling the pain because she's feeling like I'm taking her for granted. Depending on what she does, depending on the dynamics of her life.
Right.
If she's a 9-to-5 person and I'm a non-9-to-5 person, that means I work 24/7. That means I'm engaged. My brain is engaged. I have to also, just as much as I'm deliberately have to learn how that affects my relationship, she also needs to understand the other side of it. And when everything else fails, the man must take leadership and understand that, you know what? I cannot afford to take my wife for granted.
Yes.
Or make her feel like I'm taking her for granted.
Yeah.
That's what complacency is. You know, see it, finish it.
See finish.
Okay, see finish.
Okay.
I said see it, finish it. See finish.
See finish.
Basically, there's nothing new. So you take it for granted and it's natural. It's not wrong or right. We all get bored. We all want newness. And the way we move in the direction of newness sometimes can be selfish. It can be narcissistic.
Yes.
You have to remember that you're in a relationship with another entire human being. Okay? Your religion doesn't matter. Your culture doesn't matter. They get bored too. They also will feel hurt too if you take them for granted. And if she feels hurt, she's going to end up hurting you because people hurt people.
Fact.
Indirectly or directly. So you have to understand these things and then put some effort. I know you don't like the word effort, but remember there's big benefit on the end of it, right? You have to put some effort in making sure that person doesn't feel that way. All right. So another thing that causes low attraction is insecurities, low self-worth and esteem. Yes. That will cause low attraction. Okay.
Yes.
If you're coming off to your spouse as you're needy,
clingy,
you will drain that other human being.
You cannot be by yourself. You have to, you've become a leech.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's suffocating.
Yes. You will smother that person to death because they're just a human being. That's it. I was listening to another show earlier and she said, stop all this religious stuff. Let's just be human beings. Human beings need to be nurtured. Okay.
Fact.
It doesn't matter if you're a man or woman.
Yes.
Okay. That relationship has to be nurtured, or it will just fail because you're either giving into it or you're taking away from it.
Yes.
And if all you do is take away from it, even when you say, I don't bother her, I don't really bother him, you are taking away from it because they're being drained because you're still in a relationship with them. And if you become naive about that relationship will suffer. It's only a matter of time. All right. And energy, fantasies about someone else. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So some people like to say, oh, she's doing that because she's thinking about somebody. Yes, it's possible, but it's not always that. Okay. But it's very possible. But I would say consider that. It's possible that a person is fantasizing about another person. And if they're fantasizing about another person, or you already caught some emails or text messages, the right thing to do is not overreact because you will just push them further away to that person's
arms.
That's what's going to happen.
Yes.
So the best thing to do is...
You can't have a panic attack and freak out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So if this happened to you, we're going to talk about other solutions, but if this happened to you and you already caught this person and they're fantasized about other person, they have an emotional affair, or they're actually having full-blown affair with another person,
right.
You can't afford to overreact if you still want this person. What I would say is work on yourself because you may not even want this person anymore. Okay? But you can't determine that off of overreaction.
Yeah.
You need to work on yourself. Make sure that this is what you want or you don't want that. And if that's not what you want, there are ways to honorably bow out of a situation if it's become a matter of infidelity, emotional. But energy is neither created nor destroyed. If she's not giving it into you or he's not giving it into you, He's spending it on something. Doesn't have to be another human being.
But that's the place where people come in. But that's not right. It shouldn't be that way.
Well, we're not talking about right and wrong.
But it is that way. So what are we going to do about the situation?
Exactly.
Right
exactly.
We got to be solution oriented.
Yes.
Instead of just destroying everything.
Yeah. And you're going to destroy everything if you react, because again, reaction just never good. Like reaction. When I say reaction, I mean overreaction, meaning you lost your cool. Kind of like what Vado did.
Right? Choke somebody.
Yeah, start choking somebody because they hurt you. Like, no, that's not going to be an excuse. You're now assaulting a person. Okay. Being needy, insecurity is not sexy for women. It puts both sides.
Men is even worse.
And it's worse. It's worse when the man is the needy one.
Oh my God.
Okay, because then you have a woman start saying, like, come on, like
get your life together.
Yeah,
what's going on here?
Hey, man,
are you not busy?
Don't you have a job to do or something?
Don't you have a job or something?
Right.
Yes.
But on the flip side, women that are needy too can become a turnoff, which is why you want to make sure you're tapped into your personal purpose in life.
Right.
Because that milks quite a decent amount of energy, and that's very necessary for a healthy relationship.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so that's the other cause of energy is basically leaking through somewhere else. That person is enjoying attention from something else or someone else.
Right.
It could be either of the two. How do you find out? Well, I would say if you have enough energy to know that something is draining, that's probably another reason why they're not attracted to you right now. You probably have been coming off as needy, right? So the best way is to remove yourself, okay? Emotionally first, like you're probably giving too much energy and emotions into that situation. When you remove it, basically, you basically get on the other side of being predictable, okay? Because you probably have been acting again needy. You're showing up. You're saying you don't spend time with me. You don't do that. You're doing it, and it's worse. Like I said, coming from a man, you don't spend time. We're not. No, how about remove yourself? But
let that person
miss you a little bit, right? That will throw them off, and it's only a matter of time. If they don't belong in a relationship with you, they will excuse themselves, and just try your best because it's very hard. Try your best to maintain your cool through that process.
And when we say remove yourself, it doesn't mean that you should actually leave the
That's
house.
why I said emotionally first.
It means you should just be busy with yourself.
Yes.
Spend so much time with yourself that you
connect with your personal purpose.
Yeah,
connect with you're probably disconnected from your personal purpose, and you probably have too much energy now that you're giving into that person, and you're smothering that person. Because again, people don't really quit on relationship with you unless you chase them away.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a
somehow,
world
some
where
way,
people are now taking their spouse's phone and bugging it and putting some kind of, some app that is, I don't know, some crazy stuff.
If you're bugging
going on.
So let's talk about that. Bugging your spouse's phone, right?
That's crazy.
Like hacking it and getting in there, and the reason why you're doing it because you already felt insecure.
Yeah.
Right? Insecurity. We all have it, but it's 100% destructive.
It is destructive.
Okay. All right. So Tony on Marriage Bootcamp with Corrupt,
right,
was digging through the phone. I think that was a preview for next week. See
people
how that girl is feeling.
People will take their spouse finger while they're sleeping
and start opening the phone. It's because a person feels insecure.
And you will find what you're looking for. I don't care.
Well, you'll find something that will offend you. You'll find something that will offend you because your mind is already negative too. When you mix that together with something that's not all the way 100% right, at least in your perception, it's just terrible. It's going to create terrible. But anyway.
And some people put trackers on their spouses' cars and stuff like that. That is so extreme.
Yeah.
Like, no.
So all of that happens once there's obviously the marriage or the relationship is in a terrible place for all that to start going on already, Then another thing that causes low attraction is not feeling free. If you are in a relationship with a person and your idea of the relationship is just rules, boundaries. Listen, I'm not saying boundaries are bad. We talked about this in insecurities, right? I'm just saying if that's your language,
you need a
if
balance.
you're always talking about we should set boundaries, listen, that's going to come off as bondage. And you probably will say, but she should know she's in a marriage. You're right, but she doesn't. She feels terrible. She feels like she's in a prison yard. And that's exactly what I'm saying. She should know she's in marriage. You are absolutely right again, too. But she feels worse. She feels like she's in a prison yard, or he feels like he's in a prison yard, right? So whatever part you're playing in creating that place where a person doesn't feel free in the relationship, it's just bad,
And you know what? This pandemic made it real for a lot of relationships. I feel like this is the time that a lot of relationships got tested, because now people don't have work bay to run to, or friendships at their job to run to.
There's no escape.
There's no escape. Now you got to deal with that situation that you've been running from. So you might as well put in the work, learn something new, and fix this so you can benefit from it.
Another thing that causes low attraction is pride.
Yeah, pride is a bastard sometimes.
I like the idea that you're proud of yourself, that you have a healthy amount of pride and ego, because that can
that's attractive.
It can create a blurry line between confidence, which is attraction. Confidence is attractive, right? We all get attracted to a person that acts like they don't need us, basically, right? That's the confidence that we are attracted to in that person, right? But that can create, there's a blurry line between that. Once you're in a relationship with the person already, there's a blurry line between that and pride. When you can't back down, if your wife fell in love with you because you're very strong on your opinion when you're arguing, and that was one of the things she fell in love with, because you're a confident guy and everyone listened to you. Well,
she might just hate you for the same reason.
It's only a matter of time before she starts building resentment if she can't get a word in, or you don't let her get by.
Yes.
Or everything is about right and wrong. Everything is about, but you're wrong. But that doesn't make sense.
This is how we should be. Like
yes, it's only a matter of time, and that's just your pride at play. You don't know how to. You think you're losing power when you back off a little bit.
Yeah,
that to you is like losing your strength, your power. As opposed to seeing that as a strength.
Yeah, that's actually a strength when you back down.
Yeah, knowing when to say, that's what you feel.
It's okay.
All right. You don't need validation, right? You don't need validation. Now, from a woman's standpoint, it's very common when it comes to I'm sorry. You don't know how to say I'm sorry. You just don't know when to say, baby, I'm not being because your pride is just that at that level where you can't find yourself doing that.
To find your way back to your spouse instead of apologizing.
Men do get turned off. Eventually, he will get turned off. The worst case scenario is that he won't be able to, he will stay in that relationship with you and just be having an affair outside, right? Which means you guys are probably living a miserable life as roommates, right?
For more training on building and attracting a blissful marriage, please visit www.lolaandola.com.